Welcome back, everybody. I think we can all agree that nothing is really more satisfying on a cold winter night than sitting down to a delicious, warm, cozy meal. And today, I'm making a cozy classic beef stroganoff that won't just satisfy our tummies, but all of our family's tummies as well. And I'm going to tell you something. I think when people hear the words beef stroganoff, they think, oh, that's too hard. I don't know how to do that. But it's really easy to make. Very easy, very quick, very delicious.
We're super excited, Debbie. We're all sitting here at the counter, and we're all thrilled that you're making this. So take it away, Deb.
Ken, Lawrence,
I didn't even know you could make it for some reason.
Well, because you think you right, exactly, at a restaurant. But it's pretty simple. So I started with some maitake mushrooms. The first thing I did was saute some maitake mushrooms. You can saute whatever mushrooms you'd like. I just happen to really like maitake mushrooms because they're very woodsy. Okay. They just have an interesting sort of depth of flavor that I enjoy in my dishes. So just a little bit of salt, pepper, some olive oil. Saute those for about 10 minutes because mushrooms have a really, really high water content, and you really want to get them soft so they're not too chewy. You just want them tender and soft. You take them off the heat and you set them aside. Then I browned my beef ahead of time. We're using a top sirloin. You could use a New York strip. You can use whatever you like. But top sirloin is a very inexpensive cut of meat, so this is really great for the whole family, and it's not going to break the bank. Now, one thing that I have learned when you're cooking top sirloin, or any sort of meat for that matter, if you want to keep it tender and juicy and not rubbery, you need to cut against the grain. A lot of people don't know that if you cut against the grain before, in little thin strips, before you actually cook the meat, it's going to be very tender. So I'm going to show everybody at home how to do this because a lot of times they don't know what you mean when you say cut against the grain. Really? You don't know that? Okay, I'm going to show you right now.
I mean,
okay, that's
okay that I'm out of myself?
The only reason I say that is
it got really quiet in here.
Because you're a man, and usually men know steak.
A lot of meat.
You know,
well, I mean, no, I don't know cutting against the grain. I really
okay, so if we can get a close-up of this steak here. Do you see this? See the lines of the steak are going this way? Do you see that? It's almost like wrinkles in the steak. That's the grain. So you want to go against it. The lines go this way, so you go this way. And you cut thin strips just like that. Oh. And you toss them into a cast iron skillet with some olive oil, some salt and pepper, and you brown those for...
I would have thought you cooked it first and then cut it. I had no idea.
No, much better, and it's going to keep it tender. Okay. So you brown those, and you set those aside in a bowl as well. So then you come over here, and on the stove top, I've already sauteed some onions. I sliced them very thinly with some garlic and some olive oil again. So you want these to really almost caramelize, but not. You get them really, really tender. About 10 minutes. After that, I added some beef stock. Now you add the beef stock, and you want the beef stock to not boil, not get too hot. You just want to bring it to a low simmer for about 2 minutes, because what I'm about to add in here as I'm building the sauce is sour cream. And if you put sour cream in something super, super hot, what's going to happen? Science project.
Curdles.
There you go. Yes. Yes. Ms. Douglas.
Looking at your paper.
Is that why you add it last? Is that the idea?
Well, you add it. Yeah, it's one of the last things to do. And the reason you do is because if you don't, it'll break, and you're going to get all those little. It's not going to be creamy and nice and velvety like it is over there. It will just break, and you'll get little pieces in it. You really can't. So you really want this low and slow, and you want to keep stirring it until it comes together beautifully, like the one over here. Then we add our Worcestershire sauce, like this, another layer of flavor. And another reason I like to do everything ahead of time, because you're building the flavor. So you have the onions that we've already sauteed. We have the beef that we've already browned. Those beautiful maitake mushrooms that we have already sauteed as well. So then when you put it all together, there are layers and layers of flavors, and it doesn't just become one. Right. Do you know what I mean? Right. One big mush. So then we add our beef back in. Actually, I'm going to set that aside because I'm going to add the beef over to this side. We add our beef stroganoff back in, and we're going to let this come together for about 8 to 10 minutes. And our maitake mushrooms.
So this doesn't take long once you brown everything.
It's very easy, and it's impressive. I think people don't realize just how easy this is to make. And, you know, another thing, I think years ago, sometimes people would make beef stroganoff to hide the fact that it's a cheap cut of meat, or it's, you know, but that's not the case anymore. I mean, it's elevated. You could even put some red wine in here, a little bit of red wine or a little bit of cognac to give it another layer of flavor. So you let this come together 8 to 10 minutes on the stovetop. Over here, I have made I'm going to turn this off so it doesn't curdle like I just talked about. So over here, I've made some beautiful egg noodles. So you just cook them the way the package.
There's always egg noodles, right? You don't do it
with
on
beef,
pastas.
right? It's always egg noodles. That's the classic way to do it, but you could do it any way you really want to. So I've cooked some egg noodles here, and then I've tossed the egg noodles with a lot of butter because they're good with a lot of butter, right?
Yeah.
Some parsley on top, and then you just spoon this beautiful beef stroganoff sauce on top, just like that. You combine it, mix it all together, and there you go. You can put some more chives on the top.
This is so delicious. Like,
really is.
and like you mentioned to start with, it is something so comforting
Right.
about it. Like it's so cozy to eat this dish.
Right. And you can have a beautiful glass of red wine with this or whatever it is you like. And
Start the fire.
right, light the fire, watch a Hallmark movie. If it's Saturday, it's Hallmark. So, you know, this Saturday you could make this.
Have a taste of your handiwork.
It's really yummy.
I love
Really,
it when
really
ladies in
yummy.
the kitchen, right?